Take two. Okay. So tell me a little bit about your experience in the field as far as your background in photography and ghost hunting in general.
Well, with my photography, I've been in it since I was, 14 years old. And I did it as a hobby for a number of years, and then went professional, took the steps to go professional with it. And it was all self-taught, using various cameras, mostly with film though. It was before the age of digital. And went into it professionally and ended up doing weddings and portraits and went from there, and I moved into the sports photography where we did 100 teams in a day and 1,000 kids in a day, and worked out really well, and I did that for until about 1995 or so. And then the digital age came out, and I went back to doing it as a hobby. It was too competitive with digital.
What are your thoughts on orbs as far as most of the paranormal world is concerned? What would we need to know what you think as a professional photographer? Where do you lie on the orb thing?
I don't. As a professional photographer, orbs suck.
Yeah.
Okay, because the best explanation for an orb is go and stand in the rain with your glasses on, and you'll get a couple spots on your glasses, and then just go underneath a cover somewhere and turn just so the light's right, and you'll see all orbs all over the place. It's like when your eyes are out of focus.
Yeah.
It's the same thing on camera. It's a piece of dust floating by the lens.
Yeah.
It's out of focus, and you take the picture and it comes out as a nice big orb standing right beside somebody when really it's right in front of the lens and the person's 10 feet away.
Yeah.
And then when you look at it, your mind likes to be creative and it likes to believe a lot. So then you start seeing faces in the orb, shapes in the orbs, and everything else. And a lot of it's created by your the creative process in your mind.
Matrixing, basically.
Well, matrixing is
what
the
mind is trying to do. Yeah.
I forget the actual name of it, but it's matrixing is another word they use, and it puts your brain always wants to make order out of chaos.
Yeah.
So in order to make order out of chaos, it puts pictures together, much like those illusion pictures you can find on the internet. You go look up the little old lady or whatever, and it's really a young girl, but it's a little old lady with.
And you get the wine glass where it's two lovers,
two faces, or it's a wine glass.
Yeah.
And where people will really be able to matrix are the people that look at those pictures and it flashes. It flashes back and forth from the face. A lot of people only are very you could say linear almost in their thinking, and they'll see either or, one at a time. But if it flashes, you're really creative. Your process is really creative, and you'll be able to almost matrix anything.
Lens flare. Now, how do you explain that to someone who has no idea what they're understanding?
Lens flare is any bright single source of light off to the side of the camera, and it's usually pointing directly at the lens or just off on any angle within, just off the vision of the camera. So say you're pointing this way, your sun was here, and you're shooting this way, you'll have lens flares come through your lenses. And what it is say it's the sun, it's easiest light to describe. So you're shooting with the sun just off to the side. Well, that bright point of light comes in and it reflects off your front face of your lens. It refracts a little bit, reflects off the back face of that lens. And every camera has 3 or 4 lenses in it, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not just one lens in front and one lens in the back. There's 3 or 4 lenses in there, and it reflects off all the lenses. And so what you did is get a light trail. Sometimes you'll get a light trail through the picture.
Yeah.
Where you have the bright source here, and then you'll have a rainbow here, and a rainbow here, and a rainbow here, and a rainbow here. That's where you're reflecting off all the lenses in the lens. When you have just one bright light in there, you were just at the right angle for it to reflect off the front of the lens, and that's what you're picking up is the main light source. They're always white, or a haze. They're either like a very defined shape haze, white light, or rainbows are the best way to describe them. That's usually the form they're in, because the rainbows come from the refraction through the lens.
Yeah, but even between the two of us, we've actually looked at photographs over the last few months where
Yeah.
people have sent us and asked us our opinion on them, and we've always managed to debunk whatever's been out there, whether it be lens flare or whether it be photoshopping, which is a big deal right now, and also they just didn't know what they were looking at. What are your thoughts on the ones we've seen recently?
The most recent one we looked at was that police car one, and I like that one a lot because it actually caught my attention at first, because you said, well, maybe it's a lens flare.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and the only thing at first quick glance you could see was the shadow in front of the police car.
Yeah.
Or not so much a shadow, but a black substance in front of the police
Blur,
car.
basically. Yeah.
So right away I went, well, that's not a lens flare, especially at night with the single source of light being your flash, because it was a flash photograph, and it wasn't white; it was dark, shadowy kind of image. And then upon closer inspection, once I got it home and I blew it up, I really looked at it. It took a few minutes, but then you realize that somebody was riding a bike and past the police car, just moments as the camera was taking the picture. So in the digital world, what happens a lot is your cameras are set for the shutter to open, the flash to go off, and then the shutter to close.
Mm-hmm.
So if the bike was near the front of the police car going really fast, when that shutter opened, he'd have blurred because there wasn't enough light for it to capture. And then the flash goes off.
Yeah.
And the bike rider's already past the point where the flash goes off. And it lights everything up. So that everything looks nice and evenly lit and everything, but you got this shadow. Well, that was the bicyclist as the shutter opened.
Yeah.
Took the flash, and then the shutter closed. So it sort of made the image really, made the person on the bike really transparent.
Yeah.
And really questionable as to what it was. But then you blow it up even more, and you can see the head streaking by. You can actually see if you look at it good enough, you'll see the whole blurred body going by, and the bicycle rims on the ground. So it all just depends on the photograph itself.
And there's a photograph I showed you from Glen Johnson, who's a member of our team, referenced that lens flare that I pretty much picked up on right away, because I could see the reflection of the Legion mirror in the background, and okay, he's bouncing back from that. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, well, I had to agree. As soon as you see the flash bouncing off the mirror, from the photography perspective, you're expecting a lens flare. Yeah. And so right away, as a photographer, I'd throw the image out, because who wants that big bright mirror in the background anyways? Right. From the paranormal perspective, it debunks the whole photo right off the bat. Yeah. I mean, even if you would have had an apparition in the photo, you'd still have to debunk it because of that mirror being in the background. And the reaction the flash had to the flash, it just lit everything up like the 4th of July. So.
That's right. Well, thank you, John, for
thank you.
Spending 15 minutes with me and explaining stuff that I'm not overly qualified to know about, but it was great to have a chance to actually sit down and chat with you again.
No problem, anytime.